Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst the Commodities editor and the only credible face on Indian media for all things commodities, CNBC TV 18. Let's welcome Ms. Manisha Gupta with a big round of applause, our moderator this session. Joining her up on stage is already Mr. Dilip Mohanty, Senior Vice President, Reliance Retail. He just gave us that presentation. We'd like to welcome up on stage Mr. Lalit Bangar, Global Agri and Pulses Specialist. Let's give them a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, get your hands together, please. I'd like to welcome up on stage Mr. Harihara Varman, Managing Director, Agri-Venue. Let's have a round of applause and welcome him. Let's welcome Mr. Palak Chandra, founder, Agropedia. Let's have a big round of applause and welcome him. And last but not least, let's welcome Mr. Deepak Pareek, HnyB Tech Incubation. We've seen him on so many panel discussions on TV and more. Please do join us up on stage. Let's have a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, a big, big round of applause for all our esteemed panelists. We're now looking forward to a very engaging panel discussion. And with this, we'd like to request Ms. Manisha Gupta to commence with the discussion.
Thank you so much. And well, yes, Pigeon Pea clearly, when it comes to across commodities, has had various headlines by itself. And I'll start with the latest headline. And thank you so much, panelists, for being here. I'll quickly, get into the questioning part here. The latest that we reported on media when it comes to Toor was that the government was launching, the Honorable Minister Amit Shah had launched a portal which would buy Toor from the farmers directly. As Mr. Mohanty was pointing out, the government is buying commodities, government is selling commodities. I don't know what the trade is doing, because the farmers happy, consumers are definitely happy, and what is the trade doing? I mean, that's a question we'll come to. But before that, how do you look at government now launching portal? I mean, it's nothing new, Mr. Mohanty, that government does procure from the government. Is it, the government does procure from the farmers rather, but launching a portal, bringing everybody in system is what you think the reason is to do this?
Government is not that the first time government is buying, sure, but we had the experiences seeing the government buying at MSP, but things had completely changed where there's no metal in the market. The market is ruling market is almost 15 to 20 rupees higher than the market, but government doesn't have a go. They are doing chana, they are doing this thing. But when they are doing this kind of huge activity, they have to have a portal, they have to have a mechanism by who that, I think this is a high-tech government, they are doing an excellent job. Lot of registration is happening. So government what is doing from their point of view, I'm quite agree with, doing a good job. That has to be done. Otherwise, they can't manage this kind of procurement program for 1 million tons of Toor or 2 million tons of chana. That's not possible. It has to go that way only.
Mr. Bangar, this is to you then. I would want to get everybody's first comments in. So where do you see pigeon peas as a market for India and for a trade? How do you see it?
I'll give an international perspective as a supplying countries to India. You see, first of all, they look forward for stability of the policy. So which is a good news that the government has already extended import of pigeon peas and urad under OGL till 31st March 25. So this will give a big confidence in Myanmar supplier as such. And I'm pretty sure that this year you will see Myanmar Toor production going in a big way. Of course, Indra God keeping a mercy on us. But this is one. And secondly, from African countries, yes, they are bearing some issues with one or two particular African countries, which I think most of people know. But bearing that, the stability of the policy is one. And secondly, which a lot of people don't discuss, but I am always fan of foreign exchange rate also. So which people ignore many times, that what is 82 rupees 35 paisa today. So that also determine the supplies and overseas prices. So I personally feel that, and there is a big, huge demand-supply gap. Even if you take Brazil and other new originating countries, I'm pretty sure that the gap is going to increase, which is as of now 12 to 13 lakhs of tons. This is going to increase with increased production unless India do a miracle and the local production increase. Thank you.
Well, I like that line. India does miracles there. Ms. Chandra, this one is to you then. Your first comments was how do you look at the market the way it is?
As of now, right now, actually the trend is going on in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and everywhere. That due to the late sowing, the crop is coming little bit late. But for me, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and especially Gujarat, the crop is a 15 to 20% more compared to last year. That's all now. But rates are, right now, it's little bit up. I think it will go down after the first March or 15 March.
So you are assuming once the crop starts to come in and you'll see the
Definitely,
prices.
definitely.
Your sense as well, please. Your first comment.
Okay, with regards to this Indian crop, you know, Burma cargo was also coming from February, March. So this uptrend which is there in the market, it's due to the, as Mohanty ji said, government buying. Government has started buying. And that is why, otherwise the market was coming down, as he said. It would have come down and it would have stabilized at some point. But this is going up and it will remain like this for some time. But when this cargo starts coming in January, February, the market will definitely come down.
So there is some correction that we are looking in case of tour prices as and when arrivals start to begin, and that would be by the end of Feb, first week of March, that we see some more correction in prices. Deepak, your first comments.
Yeah, so I would like to start from a little bit interesting thing. Last end of January, we had a session at the IPG event. I said the only thing government eventually can do to bring price of tour down is buy at higher price and sell at lower price, right? And they ended up actually doing that. So I actually was joking and government took it seriously. When I tell government something seriously, they take it as a joke. So unfortunate reality. So now coming to the very important aspect, like, you know, when we talk about this government's new initiative portal, right? When I see it from perspective of farmer, believe me, I am the happiest person, right? Sorry for the trading community, your role is shrinking, but end of the day, farmers are laughing their way to the bank. The beauty is that they now have a base price of 89, for example, now, right? Now, if a trader goes at 89, to mil raha hai, sir, right? What more you can give me, right? So when they have this opportunity of having multiple options, I love it because farmers should make more money for sure. Now, how do I see, like, you know, availability or going forward? I back to differ, Palak bhai, like, you know, the ground numbers, right? I see Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Gujarat all not in green zone, right? Especially Maharashtra and Gujarat, I see definitely red zone. Karnataka, to certain extent, I'm saying that could be like, you know, at par at what happened last year. So we are looking at, like, you know, at least 3 to 4% decline than previous year's trade estimates. Previous year I talked
Not
about...
the government estimates.
No, government estimates, like, you know, I think Vijay Sadhana said that, like, you know, we have to take it with pinch of salt. And I've been in those discussions where actually the estimates used to be presented to the government, Department of Consumer Affairs, and I know how the numbers get arrived, right? Those numbers are far off. So we are looking at, rightly pointed by Mohanty ji, like, you know, 29 lakh or 2.9 million metric tons is what we are seeing. The challenge starts where actually the consumption, the fall, we assume, right, that actually there would be a fall of roughly, say, 4 or 5 lakh tons. I don't see that happening. For very simple reason is that just because we don't have stock, doesn't mean that actually other people are not going to look at opportunities. Now those opportunities are going to be out of India. I see Myanmar crop to be like, you know, or the import from Myanmar to be close to 3.5 lakh tons. So typically there is 80 to 90,000 more than previous year. Africa becomes a very important destination now. I appreciate the Honorable Home Minister saying that India should become Atmanirbhar in tour, right? He said 3 saal mein import nahi karenge. I appreciate his vision, but again, as last time I said, like, you know, the diagnosis is right, prescription is wrong. It's not going to happen, right? Maybe in my lifetime, I'll never see that actually 100% of tour coming from like, you know, only India, right? So I'll have, like, you know, maybe 1 dana of the dal I eat coming either from Africa or Myanmar. It is not going to come from Brazil, I can tell you straight away, right? Now, Africa is a very important part where people like HnyB is like, you know, they'll see opportunity, right? While they might be scared for some time because of what has happened, like, you know, just a week back, that Atmanirbhar thing. But going forward, they will realize that where the African farmers would be getting 90 rupees a kg type of prices, right? So you will see people will be dumping chana, jumping on tuwar, And I see like, Tanzania itself, like, at least having 30 to 40% more production than the previous year, and hence the import from there. I see Malawi also like, nearly doubling their production, right? Now, the million-dollar question is that how much Mozambique would contribute? I would like them to contribute 0, but they would contribute if the things goes as it is. So I see 4.2 million metric tons as a consumption, and I see 2.9 million metric tons as a production, and most of the rest of it, right? You'll have East Africa, Sudan, and Myanmar taking care of it, but still we'll have deficit of roughly 2 to 3 lakhs. Now, whether yellow peas can fill that gap, even if after 31st March, possibly, right, government can increase that because of like, what is happening, Red Sea and all that. Are we doing right thing by giving yellow peas, which is nutritionally so inferior than tuor, in a country where we already have issues with the stunting of the kids? And dal is Toor Dal or any dal, like, they are the very important protein sources. I think government has to also relook at the nutritional security also. That would be my just initial thoughts.
Sure. So, since we're talking numbers and Deepak already has given his, let's do that, a quick round of that. Mr. Bangar, to you first. What is your sense on how do you look at India's crop, India's consumption?
As the one first point or the intelligent thing which government has done is that opened up yellow peas import. You can see that the moment this notification issued, you see the prices of tool falling down like anything. Psychologically, yes. But indeed, today, whatever the Toor Dal or this yellow dal we call, and dhaba and many small hotels we have, most of it is blended with the yellow peas, certainly. So the moment government goes back to the old scenario when yellow peas used to come to 2 to 3 million tons in a year in India, I'm pretty sure that tour prices are going to have a hit on that. But that will take some time. Whether the government extends after 31st March or not, that we don't know about it now. By 31st March, I estimate 500,000 ton yellow pea is definitely going to come in India. That's pretty sure. And this is already traded, contracted, maybe 6 lakh ton also. Second point is that, as Deepak Bhai also said, that the shortage between the demand and supply is going to say, even 1 gram, which is said that 1 grain of this thing. So I'm pretty sure, I differ a bit on what he said, that farmers would be sitting pretty, but I'm pretty sure that the international traders also have a space, because they will always find import possibility. Price is a different factor, Tanzania, and I know for a fact that overseas countries cannot grow their production just like that, double or triple like that. So maybe our friend from Hari, he can give another 30-40%, Myanmar can increase 30-40%, but still the gap is big. So I am pretty sure in any given year of, even with the good rains and all, I feel 2 to 3 lakhs ton shortage would always be there. This is a benchmark I can set there. Thank you.
Right. So to both of you then, and why don't you go HnyB first? So what's your sense? What is the crop that India is looking at? I mean, that clearly is an opportunity for you guys then.
See, the deficit which they said 12 million ton. So that gap would be filled. Burma, which is having around 3.5. And if you say Tanzania, this year we don't know, it's too early to predict. So what we normally get from Tanzania is around 1 lakh to a maximum of 1.7. Okay, that's the highest number we can do. That was done 2 years back. And Mozambique, they are possible, they can give around 4 lakhs. So even if you put all these numbers together, there's still some shortage. As you said, around 2 lakh ton shortage approximately. And we're not sure whether the production can be doubled. It's not possible to double the production level. Because what happens, I'm particularly talking about Tanzania. In Tanzania, the pigeon peas is sown post-harvest of maize and sorghum. So it's a second crop. Okay. So wherever this crop is harvested in South Tanzania, that's where it's feasible to do it. So even if they fully utilize it, they can still achieve only 1.7. It's not possible to go beyond that.
From my point of view, I think the shortage will be around 3 to 4 lakhs, because the demand right now in the Indian market is very good. And we don't have a carry forward stock. All millers, they don't have any number of cargo. So I think it's a 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs.
All right. Mr. Mohanty, this one is to you. And I got stuck on that line when you said कि किसी भी किराने की दुकान में जाओ तो तुअर के भाव से दुकान का वो perception set होता है. have you seen proxies really come in? Because I remember government saying eat more of masoor, go on to other dals which are available. Let's not go do, consume too much tuwar. Have you seen that happen on ground?
I think the closest to tuar is masoor dal. If it is a completely substitutable, then the price differential, one is 130 rupees, the other one is 65, 70, that won't happen. I think that prices would have gone quite a lot. I think substitution happens to the extent of maximum 10, 12%, not more than that. And substitutions happen in case of Horeca segment, but household consumption, people are buying. I think the kind of consumers that come to our store slightly better off as compared to the normal public. So we don't feel anything like that. So our sales are continuously happens. It goes up based on our projection and all that. So I don't think there's a complete substitutable. It's not. 5 to 10% substitution is possible. Otherwise, this kind of variation won't be there. Tuar prices, kabuli prices so much, tuar prices so much, all others are languishing in slightly. So this kind of difference won't come.
Okay, so it doesn't really happen. And as Deepak ji said, what we eat outside, we really don't know. So what mixtures and what is mixed with the dals is something that we will never understand there. Okay, I want to talk about the arrivals part of it. And as Mr. Mohanty said, the arrivals are started to coming in major producing states. But how are you looking at this space? And we know we have time until Feb end or March or etc. Would you also believe that the prices that we are looking at right now would stay here, but by March, if there is a correction, how much of a correction are you anticipating?
Presently, the pipelines are absolutely empty. Millers don't have stocks, stockists don't have stocks, and we retailers also don't have stocks. So first round of buying is going on. I think it would have come in a full flow. Lot of vacation has come in between. Almost every alternate day is in vacation. Plus, I think weather has been bad. Today is raining heavily in Maharashtra, many areas. Karnataka also absolutely cloudy. When this kind of things happens, the both arrival at the mandis goes down. So that also pulls up a price bit. But once the first round of procurement is done, there will be some correction. Could be around 3 to 4 rupees, but that will be very temporary.
So if I had to put out a range for this year, and I know I take your point when you said that you can't predict prices more than 3 months the way we are looking at, whether it's about war or weather or government policies. There's elections coming up as well. We have a couple of budgets into this year as well. So there's lots to watch out for this year. But if I had to really put you in a corner and ask you, what is the range for tuar this year, what would you say?
Tuar whole, I think lowest price point we are talking about 86, 87. In case somebody buys, the average price is not going to be less than 90 rupees, 90, 91. So if you do and keep it, might be 15 to 18 rupees, you'll get it. That's my guess.
All right. So buy at 85, 87.
Average price comes to 90 rupees. You can't buy at the bottom price.
And
so
watch out for 115.
Yeah, and then not 115. I think you'll get 15, 20 rupees for CO. The way it looks like, demand and supply, the way cargo is coming, the way import is coming, all put together, there is a shortage, the price are going to go up.
Okay. So since we are talking about prices, what's your sense? How do you look at Indian prices moving in this year now?
I also go sync with Mohanty that lower side around 90, upside 110. That's my mind. 90 to 110. Thanks.
90 to 110. Deepak, what's yours? Now, that's interesting.
That's very interesting. So actually, a lot of people sitting here would be part of a group, WhatsApp group, Market Watch. September, I've shared a note, outlook till January, except 1 month. That is, I think, the festival season
I have
month.
to share this. So once I remember, I got Deepak on the channel, and prices at that time were ruling 80 rupees, and the government had given that warning, which we were all part of, and he said, "Oh, the prices are going to 100." At least 10 people called me and said, "Isko honor mat lo, ye trade ko marwaega." But the prices did go to 125.
No, in fact, when 100, it was, I said, like, because of whatever reason.
And then we actually stopped calling you for some time.
But when they called me 103, I said 125, even Tanzania, 103, I said 125, it went there. So in fact, like, just go to that and you'll find that except 1 month and
No, in Tanzania, I think most of these people are there or not. There, Mohanty was at X price, and he was at 20 rupees plus. So I said I buy from him and sell to him, and it has come to value.
Right. Now, unfortunately, I don't trade. Yeah, coming back to, like, the government has done beautifully well in festive season. Whatever they did, I don't know, but they did it well. Only that month, right, it was wrong. Rest of the month, it has been pretty okay. Now, I'll give you some facts before, like, because I will be talking something very, very different, right? And a lot of people will maybe, like, will be having a goosebump after what I say. So we have to understand one thing. Stock carry forward zero, nearly, right? Government is in the buying, want to build buffers. They've already shown the intent, right, by opening this portal and trying to set prices based on the market prices, which would be variable prices. More it goes up, the more government will be actually increasing their prices. So the benchmark is gonna go up and up whenever actually, like, the prices go up. Definitely there would be a little bit of correction when we see in, like, Fab and on March, when there would be huge amount of arrivals. Last year we started arrival season at 68 to 74 rupees, depending on, like, which state we're talking about. Today we are at 90. Now, by that logic, we are already previous year to this year, right? The low is 18% higher than the previous year. Previous year's high was 129 rupees. I go by that logic and I'm just giving you 18% of that could be possible high. Now, what is the reason that that high would not be achieved? I see there is no reason for that because you don't have stocks. You are having already a war going between, trade war, not the literal war, going between a trader in an African country and India, which is one of the largest supplier, right? A lot of traders would have traded with that person. Would they trade again with him? Big question mark, because they have already lost money. Now you are having maybe a possible deficit of couple of lakh of tour from that specific origin. And I little bit back to disagree because Myanmar 2.5 to 3.5 happened, right? Because the farmers were smart and they overproduced tour. So going forward, my range would be 89 to 142 is what I believe, right? And the 142 we'll be achieving close to September. So my trade, I'll say that process would be buy now, keep on adding on the dip, right? Roll it over, right? Whatever you'll keep today at 90, you'll exit in September at 142. The best way of doubling your money.
Whoa. Mr. Mohanty, do you want to increase your stakes here? Let's give it to him. Let him invest.
Hold on. I am going to allow import of yellow peas to 5 million tons within next 6 months.
I think mid of August, chana prices are going up. It crossed 60 rupees that point of time. All are very bullish. It will go to 60, more than 65. And most of the traders started buying because we thought the chana Delhi market would come post Diwali would be 65 rupees. Then Bharat Chana Dal came. Then the yellow peas thing came. So suddenly the whole basket has gone down by 5 to 6 rupees a kg. So you please wait for many surprises. So no, don't it's going to go one way. Government can't allow that.
You watch
So
your, you watch what he's saying.
Let me add here. Chana, we had close to 3 million of carry forward.
Let me put it, let's just talk about tour right now. What makes you think that at 110 or 120 or 130, the government is not going to jump in and make life difficult for you?
Right. I would love government to jump in because I want consumer not to pay more. But the possibility is that you have already used the Brahmastra on the day one itself. Now what government can do? Stock limits, right? They have done it in past. And we have seen after every stock limit, the market used to know that government is seriously seeing shortages. So the trader will say, okay, fine, I still do it, right? Maybe I'll keep it at the origin. I won't get it imported to here. So all those things we understand, right? Stock limit hasn't worked. Secondly, you have no possibility like chana of converting to dal and selling it lower price because overall, we are talking about deficit of 1.2 million metric tons, right? Chana, you had in NAFED 3 million metric tons with you, so you were able to do it. Now, we have seen that the carry forward of Chana also is like, nearly 1 million tons, that's all. Now, do you think government will play for the, the very critical part, national security, of eroding all the buffers possible, having zero stock with them, right? Or they can, as I said, buy at a higher price. So good, government will buy at 142, sell it at 80, maybe traders might not make money, but the price, right? I was not saying who's gonna make money. I was saying about the price prediction. Sir, अकेले में आइए बताएंगे आपको. सर सारे चीज पब्लिकली करेंगे तो सर हम भी तो धंधा करते हैं सर, एडवाइजरी में भी कुछ पैसा कमाने दीजिए. So now coming back there, so see there is no reason or the tools available with the government, right, except saying that actually like trader also like you have to make losses, right? They stop doing trade. It's as simple as that. So again, my advice to government would be keep buying at high price, keep selling at the lower price. That only will keep actually the dal price low, but toor price I don't see anything cooling below 140.
Well, that clearly has been one of the things to watch in the last 1 year. We've seen all pulses prices, all commodities actually come down, from edible oils to sugar to wheat, rice to some extent, and the policies perhaps will just about continue in this year as well. But Mr. Mohanty, for an industry, and as you mentioned in your presentation as well, that trade is facing competition directly from the government as we see it. And if this plays out by 50% also, how would you look at trade?
That is going to disturb the trade absolutely. Now also if you see one side government is increasing the MSP, so farmer gets a better price. On other side they are trying to restrict the MRP for the retailers. So between both the things, the difference is becoming very, very narrow at the moment. And if you look at chana dal...
And maybe a Reliance and bigger corporates can still sustain, but would you say that there are no new players coming?
No, Reliance can't able to sustain. Because I won't say that Reliance will be able to sustain. You have to make money, otherwise you'll have a way out of the company. So, so you have to make money, you have to justify your position. So Reliance may be somebody else.
But I'm just saying, at least for an established corporate, you still have deep pockets, a longer way to go. But for smaller companies, smaller establishments, or new entrants for that matter, they would not want to get into this.
Let's talk to the guys who are already in the trade, what they're saying. Yesterday, somebody called me from Delhi. One of the biggest miller, he says 80% of his capacity is unutilized chana because of Bharat Chana Dal. So a similar trend continues, can say Toor Dal, similar thing could happen. Government will buy at, they're saying they declared the price 100 rupees.
And if we understand the fact that this will go until elections and perhaps 4 months beyond elections as well, are you ready to see this year go the way it is, the way the government has taken it?
There are two things. One is election, otherwise the second thing is how the monsoon is going to compose that. Put together, all of us know till election they will use all their might to hold the prices. After that, they might relax a bit, but all depends how the demand supply at that point of time. And then we'll see how's the monsoons. A lot of ifs and buts. Otherwise, they have got the Brahmastra, LOPs again, aata jayega, so they'll reduce everything once again.
All right, HnyB, this one is to you now. How would you look at the crop situation outside as well? Because there's a lot of dependence as of now on imports. What are the challenges that you see onto this one? I mean, we've been discussing war and weather and policies, etc.
The only reliable partners as of now India has is Burma and Tanzania. Because considering what has happened with Mozambique last year, as a trader from India, I will not be having the confidence to put money in that. Until we get some confidence from the government side that it's safe to trade or buy from Mozambique. So if that clarity is not there, so let's say that Mozambique is supplying 4 lakh tons. So if you eliminate that 4 lakh, India is already having a shortage of 3 lakh, 7 lakh tons. So I feel that the prices, as I said, around 90 to 120, the prices will definitely be there. I don't see any corrections. Maybe when the flow is there in the market at February, March level, those times the market will show some correction. But this year continuously, I feel the prices will be there high until Africa cargo comes into India, which is in November, December. So till then, I feel the prices will still remain high.
Are you predicting prices for this year too?
It's really hard to say. As Mohanty ji said, you cannot take it on a long-term perspective. 3 month gap, because people are also not buying on a long-term basis because it's a higher price. But I feel the prices will still remain high. My view was between 90 to 120.
That's still on the higher side. Palak bhai.
I'm totally agree with Mr. HnyB. It will be downside, it's 87 or 88, and higher side, it will be 120 or 122.
All right. So we definitely are going back to those 120 kind of levels going forward there. So that's not good news at all. I also want to talk about the point that Mohanty ji raised, and this was about the forecast coming in from the government as well, which is not always so cool. I mean, as Mr. Patak also said, that it's not just for this one, but major other crops also is something that we face onto this one. Would you want to take this on what are the trade estimates? And there are 2 and 3 and 4 trade estimates plus the government estimates.
See, we have to understand the government is having a very, very archaic way of collecting data, right? Now they are trying to modernize it, which is a good news for sure. They have the officer responsible to give you the number or amount of how much sowing has been done, also being vested with the charge of increasing the sowing. Now, if I say the sowing has decreased, that means actually I have not fulfilled one of my role, right? So this is where actually you find that those numbers add up to large number deltas on the top. So I would request Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ahuja, to have a relook at how you are doing the forecast, because every year saying that record production, but the prices tells you that record prices doesn't work. So I think maybe after election, government will have relook at how we collect data, how we curate that data, and there is a lot of technology intervention which are possible, right? Remote sensing, we are very good in those type of things. So I believe that needs to change. And some of the names you were saying, some of the trade bodies or the private companies, they have started using that. And believe me, bhav bhagwan hai, bhav batata hai ki what data is right. So when somebody says that 2.9 in the million metric ton, if for example the prices come back to 70 rupees and remain between 70 to 90 rupees, I would say that is wrong data. The government data was right. But we have seen that when it's 2.9, the trade data says 2.9, and then prices do touch 129 rupees, that means that data was right. Otherwise, there was no reason for the prices to go so high. I believe some of the organizations which are not controlled, quote unquote, by traders, right, need to be created. Government can have some role in that to regulate it, but I think that an independent body to assess, create, curate, and release those data need to be there. If it is under government control or traded control, then you'll always have vested interest giving you data. As Mr. Sadhanaji also said, it is all about intent. If intent is wrong, data is of no use. But if intent is right, data tells you a lot of things.
Okay, now address the elephant in the room, and that clearly is Mozambique. And if you want to take that question. And yes, we've spoken to a lot of, pulses traders, and at some point or the other, there were shipments which were stuck. There had to be ministries involved into this. And yes, as was said, that if things don't go right, I mean, yes, people who've made losses, would they want to go back to it again? Why don't you come out, talk about countries? Because at this point in time, we're talking about Brazil and Argentina and a couple of other countries as well, where the conversations are on for pulses and the governments are in conversation there. But with what's happened in Mozambique, how are we taking that as an experience? Are we moving on? Are we addressing it?
See, I would say that and request government also to take Mozambique issue as something of a national security issue. It's just not about a trader going rogue, right? If we are not taking appropriate steps to nip it in the bud, the countries we are talking about, they are actually big exporter and percentage-wise big provider of that specific commodity. If I would have been 10 origin, one origin does it and doesn't have, it's okay. Now you are having 3 to 4 origin, and the largest supplier, right, origin, in that country, someone who is having access to right people, he controls trade there, and then he puts whole of the country on ransom. A country of so many million people, right, who love their Toor Dal in their sambar, right, and somebody sitting सात समुंदर दूर, right, वो हमारे सांबर को कड़वा कर दे, and we don't do anything about it, is not justified. I would request the trading community, even if government doesn't do something about it, please don't trade with that origin till this problem is resolved. You need to take a delegation to the government and say that please resolve it. Give us that confidence, I can trade back. Please, वो अगर आपको 5 रुपए सस्ते में तुअर दे रहा है तो मत खरीदिएगा. And government with folded hand, I'll say that we have to take it at the highest level and ensure, right, we start buying directly from government of Mozambique or those people who are guaranteed by the government of Mozambique and not with the traders. This is what, and what happened, it was very simple, ma'am, right? He controlled people, he ensured no containers of anybody who's not paying him moves out of the port, and then create artificial scarcity in India, and then take all the traders to task. People lost money, people lost peace, and also credibility because they were not able to deliver to those they have sold to. So I believe it was a big mess, and next year we should be very careful that we should be clearing that mess, otherwise there is a problem. Now coming to your second question, would Brazil or Argentina or those type of countries would be growing tour for us? I believe growing tour is a very, very highly labor-intensive job. The deltas and our policies and the fluctuations, they are not accustomed to that. 80 to 140, which I said, right? Now, somebody who see 140 and actually grow based on that, the cost which is incurred, it's a high-cost countries, right? They would be very happy if it is 140, but when it's come to 90, then what? So I believe still it's very early days. You might be getting 30, 40, 50,000 tons from these countries as an experiment, which is, I'm saying that like, could be a small cherry. It cannot be the cake.
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, can I continue on that? Yeah, okay. Being overseas for last almost 28 years, I have seen the importance of India as a country and the India's position overall, economic or financial or political and bureaucratic. It has improved tremendously. So I am pretty sure why they cannot fix this Mozambique problem, which has really created the mess for not for the community, but for themselves also. Because that's why they have to go for all these Toor Dal, chana dal, Bharat dal, or buy from them. This situation certainly can be fixed up. Only thing is that they must take a strong step at an appropriate level, as even he suggested. So I am pretty sure they must do it, and it is not that they can't do it. We have seen many messages like how one tourist spot has been, a rogue comment, what implication it has got, or even Canada and even US got a befitting reply from our foreign ministers and other people. So why can't we do it? Certainly we can do it. It's a very small matter. It's just not a big matter. And, the country is also not very, it's a pretty small country. Why can't it be done? So I'm pretty sure this year the government would do something. We all, as he also suggested, all some bodies should go and take it up with the government. I'm sure you as a press also maybe take it up and you were also having relations with government people. Mohanty is the biggest retailer, Reliance. So this should be taken in a considered way. So then I think I'm pretty sure this can be done. That's what I feel.
Mr. Mohanty, to you the question is on how do you see India's dependence, sometimes even over-dependence, and it's not just about pulses, it's about edible oils, it's about various other commodities, and when you have countries which can't work together or there's an incident that happens, how do you see India stand then?
I think we have to do it a two-pronged way in the sense. And India, 3 years back, if you see, we are surplus of wheat, we are surplus of rice, we are surplus in sugar. Suddenly, everything evacuated. We have come to a place where we are dependent on imports at the moment. Wheat could start anytime soon. Same with sugar also they are holding on to. So we have a problem only in edible oil or pulses. Other item, as of now, I think if you see globally, there is enough wheat available in Russia or Ukraine. Any point of time that could come at Indian ports. So there is not a problem. Rice also we have enough at the moment, I believe. So absolutely the problem, tricky areas are pulses as well edible oil. So government has to do something, I think as far as palm is concerned, soya, sunflower, if you so I'm not a subject matter expert in that. But as far as pulses is concerned, I think that is why I've been telling you, we have to go for a kind of a yellow revolution now. What Dr. Swaminathan has done, that has to be done. We have to do some good quality seed, proper attention to that. And it's a concerted effort required by the all the corporates, I believe government, farmers and seed agencies all put together and scientists put together. Something has to be done. You can't be completely dependent. We'll import this thing will do. We have to have self-dependence. The government has done an excellent job in the last 15 years. I think 15, 20 years back we were importing almost 30% of our pulses requirement. Now it has come down to 15%. If you see the graph number, it's going up. The government has full credit to the government what they have done overally. But now temporarily, continuously, we had 2 bad rains. That has affected quite a lot. I think we have to do it internally. I mean, we have resources, we have government has got a willingness to do it. So whatever can be supplemented, that is fine. That we can do through a long-term policy, so that everybody gets a confidence that India is going to take, so that you do that. But we have to be self-reliant and self-sufficient. I think Mr. Amit Shah was telling few days back, by 25 or 29 will be self-reliant. I think this government, whatever they do, they're doing. As I say, they're doing. So I've got full confidence in them.
All right, that's good to know. And let me come to you now, Mr. Aribhai. What do you think? What do you think the government needs to do in sense of ensuring self-sufficiency? One in India, I mean, that's one part of it. And the other is the, as has been said, sometimes we'll be exporters, sometimes we perhaps would be importers as well. I mean, this will keep changing and climate change is not going away anytime soon. So these government-to-government negotiations will perhaps continue. How would you look at India's dependency as of now when it comes to pulses?
I'll just stick to pigeon peas. Sure. Okay. So India's dependency on pigeon peas is always there. I don't think self-sufficiency is something which is achievable overnight. As Deepak ji said, his
Next
entire life might pass and it might not be possible. I believe that. Because there's been news, I don't want to openly talk about that. This election year, so these sort of news will definitely come in the market. India will definitely keep buying, but the confidence which the overseas farmers or the overseas countries need is that if India wants to buy, they keep a OGL. It's not like every year they, okay, this is also fine, it works with us. Every year they give us an open policy that, okay, this year we're ready to buy. So that keeps an open mindset for everyone in the trade, including the farmers who are secured. They are happy to grow for India. If at all, if they want to achieve, self-sufficiency, be clear with that, so that the farmers in Africa who are specifically, sowing these only for India, they'll move to something else. So these sort of things, the government should work together, especially even in a country like Mozambique where there's a MOU. Even after having a MOU, you're still not able to get the cargo out of, whereas Tanzania doesn't have such MOUs. So these African countries should have, India should work with African countries to have some sort of smooth ways to get things done. And this Mozambique incident should never happen. Because as Dilip ji said, Deepak bhai said, this year, if we boycott Mozambique, it's very difficult for us as a consumer in India. The deficit will be even more. So what needs to be done is that the government should find ways to make sure that the Mozambique cargo comes to India. That's the only solution.
Why don't you take over from what he said? And just taking over from where he said, this is an election year. They'll say all these self-sufficiency things, but India is not going away too far as a buyer.
I think India is not a self-sufficient. This is a very crucial year for us. So we need imports. It is from Mozambique, or it is from Tanzania, or it is from Burma. But we need that.
All right.
Manisha, I'll just add just one line. No, see, Indian farmers, few years back we told them, grow more yellow peas. We want to be self-sufficient in yellow peas. Atmanirbhar banna hai. From 2 lakh tons, he reached to 1.2 million metric ton this year. 6-time rise in 6 years. That is your farmer's capability. Now, this was the year when he was close to getting 60 to 70 rupees. And then a government comes and say, okay, I am opening it up. Now, if you are lucky, till 31st March, you will get 30 to 33 rupees. In case you are unlucky and tour prices breaches a specific mark, I'll open it for another 6 months, and then you sell it for 18 to 20 rupees. Do you think the farmer would like to make India self-sufficient? And believe me, we had this self-sufficiency mission or national mission for pulses, oilseed for so many years. It's not about the capability of the farmers. It is all about our policies, which is not letting us become self-sufficient. So farmer is safe growing wheat, rice, sugarcane, and saying MSP पे बेच दो, ज़्यादा टेंशन नहीं चाहिए. ये तुअर वाले खुद भी परेशान होते हैं, हमको भी परेशान करते हैं.
So, all right, so there is one thing for sure, that we are looking at higher pulses prices going forward as well. So while we conclude this, let me come to, and I was listening to a couple of other panels as well when I walked in here, and there are concerns across board, whether it's edible oil, sesame, groundnut. I mean, there are problems galore, and even with all of that, if we think that this year has been good because it's an election year, because the government has been, very, very vigilant, then going forward, what do we really require is a big question mark that, of course, is for another day right now. But, when it comes to agriculture, Mr. Mohanty, what do you think is the priority that needs to be done in India right now? I mean, I'm not even talking pigeon peas right now. What do you think that is the priority right now? Self-sufficiency, or you have a better word?
I think get your data corrected.
Okay.
Whatever policies you want to do, unless you work on a wrong number, you come to wrong conclusion. That is the first priority for the government, I would say. Yeah.
I was only looking for one word here. Deepak, one word. What do you think is priority right now that needs to be done when it comes to agriculture?
Data. I go totally back him. That is where we lack. We need good data, validated data, which makes the right policy for us.
I would again supplement the same and say good data. And one suggestion which I can make from this stage, and if the government really implement that, the advanced estimates which they are having at the moment 4, I believe, let them increase this number to 8 and have the every 1.5 months the data. I'm pretty sure their data department also will be charged and they will have more accurate data. So I think rather than going for 4th advanced estimate, go for 8 advanced estimates.
All right. Mr. Pathak, one word what agriculture needs right now. Act.
There are libraries full of how to increase productivity in all the crops. There are scientists, there are crops, there are seeds. There is no action. I told you 4 years ago we had the first draft of the national oil seed. It is still taking. So if we don't act, we can keep talking.
Okay, so data, action. Atulji, one word that agriculture needs to do.
Because priority is different, government priority is different. So there is no point, whatever we discuss today will be useless after 4 months. I will not comment anything.
Yeah, we all come back to that HnyB statement. Very valid made. Let them say whatever they want to. This is elections here.
I have picked up from that. You want to go to Rajya Sabha? No, I want to go to my home.
No, I feel it's price, the stable price, some like MSP. So when when Deepak Bhai said that a few years back yellow peas were this and happened and 18 rupees and all. So let's say that 2 years down the line, India is making a production of being self-sufficient. So what will the price? The farmers get? Will they sell it for 50 rupees, 40 rupees? So what will happen then? So then the following year, will they go for the same sowing? Because government cannot buy the entire quantity. If government buys the entire quantity, it's fair. Okay, but where will the traders go? What about the millers?
I think accurate data, that is the most important thing, and proper negotiation with all the government bodies and the traders.
The department in the government to have commercial intelligence, the person who knows the global trade.
Dilip ji has a word to add. His favorite word in agriculture.
हमारे दोस्त दीपक जी ने कहा 130 रुपया 25 रुपया मैंने बोला हो गया तुवर हाल 4 महीने में व्यापारी से पूछो तुमने कितना पैसा घर में लेके आए हो एक भी व्यापारी बोलते मैं तुवर ने पैसा घर में लाया हूँ तो बता दे ऐसा बुरा हाल 130 होकर के सडनली 80 रुपये कब हो गया वो मालूम ही नहीं पड़ा गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी है 4 महीने 5 महीने इलेक्शन ईयर है फिर स्टेट इलेक्शन था अभी ये सेंट्रल इलेक्शन है ये आपका मार्च अप्रैल से निकाल देंगे जुलाई में देखिए अफ्रीका आने वाला है 2 महीने का विंडो मिलेगा आपको वो 1-2 महीने के विंडो में आप क्या कर पाते हो वो उसके ऊपर है 2 महीने के विंडो में निकल गया रह गया जुलाई में आपको अफ्रीका शेर आया दिख जाएगा तो मेरे समझ में ये तुवर का व्यापार इतना तेजी मंदी का रहेगा पूरे 6 महीने कि इसमें कोई व्यापारी कमाएगा नहीं कमाएगा भगवान के ऊपर तो मेरे को लगता नहीं है इसमें कोई कमाएगा क्योंकि इतना गवर्नमेंट का सिस्टम रहेगा था
Well, very well said on that, and thank you panelists so much for joining us. Has been one of the major conversation points